Okay, you are now recording and on live.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at tonight's Board of Trustees public meeting. We can get started with our meeting by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So our next portion of our meeting is the public comment section. Russell, has there been any public comment that has been submitted? Russell, I'm not sure if you can hear us or if you're with us here. I see you there. The question was if there's been any public comment that has been submitted via email prior to the meeting.
Okay, can you hear me now? Good.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, there were two public comments that were submitted via email. The first is Denise Simpson, 132 Old Town Road, Southampton, New York. It's dated May 11th, and it's attention Mr. Cradiville. It's in reference to our coveted beach passes for village residents, and Ms. Simpson has asked that we take a look at us limiting the number of beaches for people who are not village residents. I do think that we have actually covered pretty much all of the requests that she had. The full letter is available online as part of the packet. The second is from Evelyn Conrad, 18 South Roscoe Drive, Southampton, New York. It's to the members of the Board of Trustees. She is asking that that every municipality should produce a comprehensive plan at least every 5 years. She claims the last time that the Southampton Village adopted a comprehensive plan, it was in May of 2000. That's approximately 20 years ago. And she speaks of some things that she feels are not in the letter and the spirit of our comprehensive plan. And she is asking that that we get started with to consider putting together a master plan, as comprehensive master plan, as soon as possible.
Thank you, Russell. And is there any additional public comment?
We don't see anyone who's has requested to come in.
I see someone raising their hand. Are we accepting?
That's Evelyn. Evelyn Conrad has raised her hand to speak.
Yes, she should be admitted into for the 3 minutes for public comment.
I
Okay.
also can read the entire letter in its entirety if the board wishes.
Okay.
I'm happy to let Evelyn in. Evelyn, thank you for joining us.
Evelyn, unmute yourself, please. Okay, Evelyn, you would need to unmute yourself.
Press Alt.
You're on. We can hear
You're
you.
on.
Okay, excellent. Well, I would like to clarify what the story is about a comprehensive plan. It is the one place other than voting where the villagers have a chance, all our residents and voters have a chance to say how they want this village to look next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. They have a chance to express what they want in terms of density, in terms of size of houses, in terms of traffic, in terms of preservation of historic sites, open spaces, and so forth. This comprehensive plan, the last residential one that we had, was in May 2000. It was excellent. It was totally violated by the zoning codes that followed it. And of course, the zoning codes are meant to implement the comprehensive plan. It is the one place where we, as residents of this village, have a chance to say what we want our government to do. And we do want it to do what we want it to do. This would be an excellent time for there to be a new comprehensive plan. It is done by a written survey to start with, followed up with telephone interviews. And since most of us, or many of us, can very often be found at home these days, this is an excellent time. Furthermore, there's very little construction going on. There's very little permit for new McMansions going on. So this would be a lovely time, an important time, to finally let the voice of the villagers be heard. And that's what I'm trying to get you to do. So thank you very much, unless you have some questions, which I'd be delighted to answer.
Thank you, Evelyn, for the comment. I'm glad you brought this up simply because I too would love to see an update to our master plan. Paul Travis from our Planning Commission did present to our board an update to our downtown, and I'm completely for that. So I'm hoping and optimistic our board will be for that as well. Trustee Polaro and I also met with James Lima, who would be an excellent candidate to come up with a much broader plan to take some of that initial work that Paul Travis is hoping we can do. And then just so you know, I did actually speak with Frank Fish, who also has a background in that. So I'm 100% on board. I think those are excellent comments, and would just I am optimistic that our board would be willing to see that through. So thank you for sharing that. I think that was an excellent comment. And Evelyn, welcome back. It's not a meeting without you. So with that being said, we're going to proceed with our rest of our meeting. There are no board presentations tonight, but we have one discussion item, and that discussion item is health insurance for elected officials. So after doing some research, we had realized that anybody who serves, any elected official who serves 5 years on our board at the age of 55 and over is entitled to benefits for life. Now, it's my perspective that we are public servants. We are volunteers. And so ultimately, I'd like for this board to be the board that has the courage to say, we don't need that. We would welcome that for others, but for us, we're volunteers. And so when we finish our terms, when we finish serving our village, we do it on a volunteer basis, and we are not extracting benefits from the taxpayer dollar. And so I just wanted to get some discussion from our trustees, and I'm hoping that we will be the board that says, you know what, if we haven't served those 5 years yet, we don't need those benefits for life. We're public servants. We've got millions of Americans who are underinsured or uninsured. Let's not extract, let's give, let's volunteer. Are there any comments from the board?
Jesse, I think that's something that the board can certainly look at and take on, and see how it works going forward, and what we want, and how we want our public servants to be compensated. I think Russell mentioned last week that things are changing, and I think our village attorney also has seen some changes. So let's definitely look at it.
Trustee Allen, what do you think? Are you open to that change?
I'm a bit uncomfortable speaking to something that made its way onto an agenda at 10 this morning. I don't look at my email every second as an initial response. I guess my second response is, if we're looking to be, budget stewards, we have a lot of issues to look at. And I'm, meeting with the Business Revitalization Committee a couple of times a week with Trustee Parrish. They're struggling for their businesses to pay rent, mortgage, utilities, keeping their people safe. I'm looking for a $10,000 grant so we can help with our community website. I would really like to look at everything, not just one little piece.
Trustee Allen, just so you know, Russell and I did have this discussion. I believe Russell had maybe intended to add it to the agenda earlier on, but we had the holiday. So this was given, submitted in advance, just so you're aware. This was not something that, made it onto the agenda at the last minute. This was prepared in advance. So just to clarify that. And then also, we don't want to deflect, obviously, to other things. We really want to get opinions from our trustees. It's okay, Trustee Allen, if you, think that you want benefits for life, no problem. But we want to discuss it. Many residents have reached out to me about this. And I told the residents who reached out to me about this that I would bring it up. We are public servants. We owe the public a discussion. And it's something that we can continue to look at, but definitely important to discuss versus deflecting.
Mayor, if I may, I don't think that's at all what Trustee Allen was saying, that she's looking for that for life. So I would really hope that you're not trying to put words in anyone's mouth here. I think that, she said she's willing to look. There are just other things that we need to look at as well. And we need to make sure that there is, that it is looked at and everything in totality is looked at. So this is one piece of a greater piece. And I think, again, it's something absolutely that we can look at, but we have to understand also that retroactively, I don't think that we can go and change it for the people that this is adhered to and is already in place for. So, as some of our other contracts that were done years and years ago, these are things that will need to ride out over a long time. So they will probably continue to keep costing Southampton villagers and tax residents, a portion of money until we see a reduction in the people that are using it. And yes, we need to start somewhere. So again, let's look at it. Let's look at everything.
A few things. Thank you, Trustee Polaro. This has nothing to do with anyone in the past. We're talking about the four of us who are here today who haven't qualified yet. And also, just so the public is aware, this is something that actually came up in the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, was something that our members had brought up and ultimately wanted to get the discussion going, so the Budget and Finance Committee could also come back to us with some findings. So
let me just, can I say something? Because I feel as though you've put words in my mouth. I've never said I don't want to analyze things, and I'm very curious about the Budget and Finance Committee, because at last year's organization meeting on July 1st, you appointed me along with yourself to the Legislative, Executive, Finance, and Staff Committee. Here are our names right here, along with the Insurance, Municipal Association, and Taxes Committee, which is why Trustee Polaro and I attend the Safety Committee, and you appointed us, and we attend the Tax Grievance Committee. So if there's a committee around, I'd love to be involved in that committee. It would have been nice to know about it. And as I've said before, I'm happy to look at anything, but I think we have a lot of important things to look at in this village. And one of the most important things we need to look at right now are some of our business revitalization boosts that we can help them with. I've mentioned to this board that we need a grant to help with our community website, and I'm still waiting for an answer on that. Most of our businesses are waiting to get their internet working better. I think, we're still waiting for the internet contract to be signed. And I'm a little curious why this is all of a sudden the most important topic when we even have two attorneys at this meeting. I mean, if we're going to look at dollars and costs, let's look at everything. It's just odd that this is all of a sudden, the topic of the day when we have people about to go out of business. We have environmental issues that need signing. We have internet contracts that need signing. So I'm the first person to sit there and go through everything with you had I known about this finance committee that I'm supposed to be on, according to this.
Okay, point taken. We can now move on with the rest of our agenda. Thank you, Trustee Allen, for the analysis.
I'd like to see if any other board member has any discussion on this piece. If Rich has something to say to it. He's the longest one. He's one of the only people that qualify for where it's going forward. So I'd love to hear what Trustee Yastrzemski has to say on this.
No.
So do you want to move on, or do you want to stay on this?
No,
topic?
I don't know. I mean,
I would, no, don't worry. I was going to weigh in on it. I just wanted to see if anybody else had something, else. And I was going to hit cleanup, but no, it's a point that has been brought up in the past. Like I think I've told all you guys, there's a lot of points that comes up in our discussions that have been brought up by our new members that haven't been brought up in the past. This is one of them. And it's been discussed in a group. It's been discussed in a public, like term limits. So it's been put out there. And I can tell you in the past, the boards in the past, at that time weren't willing to go forward with any changes. But, as it's been pointed out to me multiple times, this is new normal or the new abnormal or the new whatever we're moving into. We do have fresh eyes, fresh ears. So whatever, again, you guys assess going forward. And yes, as you pointed out, I can certainly opine on this knowing that it does not impact me. Or more importantly, to point out, so nobody, any other people from the past know that it does not impact them, because I can see some misinformation or misunderstanding being on to some people, retirees. You never want to really try to mess with retirees' benefits. So I just want to be clear that that this discussion does not pertain to anybody currently who's a beneficiary of the benefits. And certainly a few of us, myself being one of them, going forward not. So so to answer your question, yeah, Andrew and others, it's been brought up in the past and it hasn't gone any further than discussion. So that's what you guys want to do with that going forward is you guys call.
Mayor, can I say something?
Please. Yep. Feel free. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, it should be discussed. We actually, it's like Richard said, it's been mentioned before. However, what's the history of it? Like, how long is this going on? Can you fill me in on some of the history of, is this something that's in the code, on the law, on the books? What? Does anybody know about that? Rich, Jesse, Brian?
I can't give you the exact breakdown of how and who was voted on. I mean, I believe it came around in the 70s or 80s, but I'm really not too positive about that.
What was the reason that it came about? Was there any particular hardships that were going on at the time, or?
I think a lot of the, and it's all relative, but the idea of it was, and I think a lot of people have recognized, every sitting board and member, and certainly members from the past, are recognized certainly by our public, that a lot of hours, and some put in more than others, but on average, there's a lot more hours put into this job than I think a lot of people, certainly who sign up for this, realize, and they learned afterwards. But it is comforting through my years, I've heard a lot of public actually recognize, the time and the blood, sweat, and tears that gets put in by board members and quote unquote volunteers. Someone once told me there were no victims, only volunteers. So with that, I believe it was brought about and kind of continued as a form of compensation. But over the years, I think back then when this originally came out, clearly the cost of insurance was nowhere near, or the cost of anything, let's put it, but certainly what has outpaced a lot of, economic numbers is the cost of, insurance, health insurance. So that's why in the past, other municipalities, we have some neighboring municipalities that brought it to discussion. I think West Hampton was one, but I don't remember how they ended up. And a lot of people sometimes will just, voluntarily decline it. So there's been, from my experience through the years, when this has come up, a lot of different ways that different, boards or board members have handled it. But that was the original breakdown of it. I believe it was considered like part of compensation.
What are the exact details? Again, Jesse, it's at 5 years. Is it 6 years or is it 5 years? And why 55? Like, does anybody know why that age?
We do have detail on this. It really depends on, do you want to go further down this, Mark? And because
I'm just asking because I don't know the exact details of it. I've heard it. Someone had said it was 6. When we got in, it was never put in front of us and said, look, you're going to get insurance if you make it to 55 and you've served 5 years. So I was just curious. You've obviously read into this, so you seem to know quite a bit. And I'm just curious about, what are the details? If you are, let's say, I mean, I'm not even close to 55 right now. I don't know anybody else that's really, close. When you said 4 people, were you referring to who? Me, Andrew, you, and who was the 4th?
And myself.
Well, it was me, you, Andrew, and who was the 4th?
And Kim Allen.
And Rich is eligible or not eligible?
He's qualified because he's served more than 5 years.
But what's will he be at his age bracket? Will he meet that,
I
age
think
bracket?
we want to be careful unless
Okay,
Trustee Yastrzemski would like to discuss that part.
No, I apologize. And
If I can just, I do think, and I'll let Brian say, I do think we have to be careful if specific people or persons we're speaking about. But what I can answer is that the rule of being an active participant in the plan is a state rule with the plan that we participate in. So the New York State insurance program, NYSHIP, health insurance program, has a rule that states the village sets its parameters, or the municipality sets its parameters as to how one vests. However, it cannot be longer than 10 years. So NYSHIP's rules are 10 years to vest. And in order to qualify to continue health insurance into your retirement, you must be age 55 when you apply for that benefit. So I know there are people who could work until their age 50 and be covered. They then pay COBRA for 5 years. So they've continued their coverage by paying their own way. And then when they hit 55, they're eligible. However, if you separate service at 50, do not continue to pay in, even if you worked 30 years or 20 years. PBA contract, different scenario, different retirement system, different rules, but you do not qualify at age 55. So I don't know if that answers your question. And the other question you asked is that the latest change to this policy was on a resolution of August 21st, 1984. I'm familiar with that because of the fact that it's one of the things that we get tested on in our audit annually. So we have to have that resolution handy as to what is the rule that governs anyone who's on health insurance.
Russell,
Russell, thanks for filling in the blanks there. And Brian, I mean, would you recommend this for an executive session discussion so we can have a little bit more freer of talks about it? Or what's your opinion? Some of the municipalities that you oversee, how do they structure?
Thank you, Trustee Parrish, for recognizing me on this question. First off, let me address if I can, just the discussion item in general. I think that we've got to think about, I recommend that the board think about it. We should think about the next meeting, a protocol on agenda items. I know that there have been questions and concerns about what gets on, what doesn't, how it gets there. Perhaps we should talk about it, a protocol, so that we can understand how items get onto the agenda, what's included, what's not on motion or otherwise, so that people can be prepared for what that discussion might be. Because again, discussion items might be a little bit freewheeling. With regard to so I think I just put that out there for consideration, maybe at the next meetings, and I can circulate a proposed protocol. With regard to the question on benefits, many villages do it. I think that there is an equal number of villages that do not, but I can say that it definitely is a litigated question when it comes up with regard to people who qualify and their continuing benefits and what was earned and when it can be done within a certain term on whether it's already been earned. But it definitely is it is a hotly contested item because it's a valuable recognition of your service to the village.
Counselor, can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you for that. Back to your comment on protocol. Russell, so just by way of background, we as a board have discussed the agenda protocol. At one point it was to be locked down 7 days in advance. Then it was, dribbling down to 3 days, 2 days. Now it's the day of. I thought we had all agreed that at a minimum it would be 24 hours in advance, but it would be helpful if this could be revisited. Russell, when did you get the notification to add this to the agenda?
I don't have that right in front of me, but I,
Because I don't wing it, and neither does anybody else on this board. And now we've spent a lot of time discussing something because we don't know who knows what, and we don't have the time to ask the right questions ahead of time so that we can be actually organized and helpful in really addressing what is probably a very legitimate topic to discuss amongst others. So I would very much appreciate if we could have a protocol that would be adhered to. Thank you.
So Trustee Allen, I too would like a protocol, and I was hoping to move on, several minutes ago, but I will not be publicly badmouthed and called out like this because this was submitted to Russell last week. And by the way, the only time in 2020 where something was added to the agenda last minute was when you and your political party did that regarding the budget. So I don't want to go down this road, but I will tell you, I do not appreciate being called out like that because Russell can get back to when this was given to him for the agenda. But you did add, and your political party did add a last minute agenda item. So let's not do this game of calling out right now. I think it's best to fix our own problems before we call out other people. So I'm going to move on with our agenda, but I do not appreciate that, Trustee Allen, and just want to vocalize that. So now we have communications to the board. The first is the Southampton Town Trustees, a resolution authorizing Lake Agawam Conservancy to renovate and replant the rain garden at the south end of Lake Agawam. Russell, I'll let you take it from here.
okay. Mayor, we did miss the public hearing. Do you want to do communications first and go back to the public hearing? That's fine.
So we can do communications. We'll
Okay,
handle it and we go to the public hearing.
very good. So the town of Southampton Board of Trustees passed a resolution authorizing the Lake Agawam Conservancy to renovate and replant the rain garden at the south end of Agawam Lake at their meeting of May 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Russell. Is there anything else regarding that communication?
We're not asked to do anything. It just has the documents and a copy of the resolution.
Thank you, Russell. The next communication to the board is the Comp Alliance Workforce Reduction Credit.
Okay. Our insurance agent, Cook Marin, along with myself, have been in conversation with our workers' compensation carrier, the Comp Alliance, and spoke with them about the fact that because many municipalities had a reduction in workforce during this period we're in now, many of them went down to 25% at times, 50% at times. They have sent a letter to us stating that they have given us their first credit for the fact that we've had employees off of the payroll and a check in the amount of just slightly over $10,000 as a refund on part of our premium for workers' compensation.
Thank you, Russell. The next communication to the board is the SHAH Annual Fireworks, July 3rd, 2020.
Okay, the Southampton Fresh Air Home is requesting to have their fireworks scheduled for Friday, July 3rd with a rain date of Sunday, July 5th. Done it for 32 years on Meadow Lane. I do believe they're also say that there will be no party this year and will not require any parking exceptions. And I do believe they've been in communication both with the chief of police with regards to law enforcement and our fire marshal as well for a particular type of fireworks that, again, is adherent to social distancing.
Thank you, Russell. And fourth is the Southampton School District request for banner on Leland and Hampton.
Okay, received an email from Timothy Frazier, principal. We are requesting to hang a banner on the corner of Leland Lane and Hampton Road on the southeast side. The banner is in recognition of their 8th graders who will be moving up to high school. It's standard 4x8. It will be staked to the ground with wood, and they'd like to have the banner displayed from June 10th through July 1st. Generally, this is something that the board does not do need to do a resolution on. It's it's something that they just ask for our permission, and administratively it's granted. However, I did want to pass this message on if any board members have any concerns or anything regarding it.
I'm good.
Any other concerns or questions regarding this? Okay, thank you, Russell. Next is our public hearings. The local law requiring repealing local law number 1 of 2020, exceeding the tax cap. There may have been some comments. Russell, you can let us know if they are. If not, we could also turn this over to our village attorney, Brian Egan, to bring us up to speed on this.
Entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a required local law under the state tax cap law, that if the village passes the authorization to exceed it and then does not, they have to repeal the previous local law. So, and the repeal must be done in the same manner as a local law public hearing. So it's nothing more simple than that. It's a ministerial act to withdraw the previous authorization to Pierce, because, and congratulations, the mayor and the trustees passed a budget that did not necessitate piercing the cap.
Should we make a motion to close the hearing and then move to a vote?
Let's just, Russell, is there any public comment on the public hearing?
There was no public comment. There was comment that was made at the last meeting, which was read into the record.
Okay, and no one's indicated they want to comment. Then if there's no comments, then you can close the public hearing and call for a vote.
Thank you, Brian. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing and move for a vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adopt a local law to repeal local law number 1 of 2020, authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law 3C.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Yastrzemski.
Aye.
Trustee Allen. Unmute.
Aye.
Mayor Warren.
Aye.
Trustee Parrish.
Aye.
Trustee Polaro.
Aye.
Thank you, Russell, again for your help there. We now move forward with suggested resolutions. Russell, I'll let you start with the first.
Entertain a motion resolved that the reading of the minutes for the public session of May 14th, 2020 be dispensed with, and that those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator, and that the actions taken at that meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the claims for the warrants dated May 26, 2020, totaling $136,809.04, warrant number 15 of the general fund, and $159,397.78, warrant number 12 of the capital reserve fund, and the village payrolls for the period from May 8, 2020 to May 21, 2020 be ordered and approved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Again, there was no, both the warrants, the general fund warrant and the capital warrant, are posted on our website. There really was nothing in the general fund warrant that was, out of the ordinary or unusual. One of the only kind of the largest bill, 2 largest bills. One was the payment of the auditing fee by Sadi and Partners. And the other one was our portion of the payment for Channel 22 CTV to the town of Southampton, an agreement that was signed quite a while ago. With regards to the capital disbursements, one purchase was for a Chevy Tahoe for the police department that was voted on by this board back in December. One finally became available out of the capital fund. And the other is the payment to Suffolk Lock and Security, and that's for the completion of the security system at the ambulance barn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Entertain a motion resolved. The Board of Trustees hereby approves the attached schedule of budget transfers to eliminate line item overages for the period ending May 26, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, this budget transfer is essentially moving money out of radio operators' personal services and radio operators' holiday pay, moving money into those accounts and crediting compensated absences. The majority of that money, just a small portion is not, the majority of that money is a retirement in the radio operators unit. And so it was, so it runs through payroll out of personal services. However, it gets reallocated out of compensated absences. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby appoints Sadie Levine as independent auditors for the village for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved. The Board of Trustees hereby appoints Sadie Levine as the independent auditors for the Village Justice Court for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just, as part of a question, and I let the board know that this was another question that was brought up at one of our Budget and Finance Committee meetings. They often ask, how long have you worked with a particular firm or not? What was discussed and what is, felt comfortable is the fact that Sadie has been with us for a while, Sadie Levine. However, this will be the first full budget for which I oversaw the budget. So they felt comfortable having an experienced, auditing firm that is familiar with the village continue on to do the audit, for this year, and that if the board was interested at some point to, discussing other firms, that's something that they would be willing to look at and talk about in the future. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes Sound Actuarial Consulting to prepare the 2019-2020 GASB 75 interim update at a cost of $3,000.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby retains the Comp Alliance as the village workers' compensation carrier and authorizes the village administrator to purchase the 2020-2021 workers' compensation policy.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved the Board of Trustees hereby approves Nicholas Maddock as a probationary member of the Hook and Ladder Company No. 1 effective May 26th, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved the Board of Trustees hereby amends the start date of Cameron Highsmith to May 21st, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you again, Russell. Appreciate you running a quick and well executed meeting for us. We now move to the final portion, comments from board members. Trustee Stremski, you are first.
I want to, first of all, commend people that were involved with Memorial Day yesterday. The weekend clearly kept away a lot of people, there was a lot of concern about crowds, and thankfully that didn't come to fruition because, again, the weather kept a lot of back. We were prepared. We had staff at our beach. We had staffing around. Our departments are all ready. So the good news is I was glad to see that, again, as a village and our employees were all prepared for this, which were expected to come out but did not. We did manage the crowds that we already did have. We did have a watered down ceremony yesterday, void of the parade. It was actually nice to see people participate in it as spectators, socially distancing, and and wearing masks, which I'll admit that's a pretty surreal thing to sit up there and look out at a field and see everybody wearing masks. It's quite a different scene. I never thought I'd see. But in any event, everybody did abide by the requirements and the requests, and did what they were supposed to do. So I thought that was a very successful ceremony yesterday. And again, everybody, the mayor had a good speech, and the speeches were well received, and we had a veteran there as well. So other than that, again, as usual, I thank our departments that are, braving through this. And starting tomorrow, we begin phase 1 in New York State. Quite honestly, I don't know what the hell to expect with that. I think a lot of us don't. But, we're prepared. We've done a lot of things we can be prepared as expected from the state and the county, and it works its way down to us. And I'm confident that whatever comes our way, our departments will handle it admirably. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Next is Trustee Allen.
Good evening. I hope everyone is safe and healthy and we finally have some nice weather. Rich, I wanted to compliment you on your daughter. She sang so beautifully yesterday. There was another woman who sang, I don't know her name, but she was also very talented. It was so uplifting to hear the ceremony yesterday. Very excited that Long Island is on track to open for phase 1 tomorrow, as Rich already mentioned. And if you go to forward.newyork.gov, industries reopening phase, it gives a little more guidance as to which type of industries that includes. I just wanted to point out that we are in May, and when we talk about the environment, we talk about the use of the gas leaf blowers. We do have a summer restriction, and that became effective as of May 20th, and it runs through September 20th. And this applies to all residents, landscapers, and clubs and whatnot. So I have to say we've had a pretty good start of it. I received a number of calls from people in the community saying how much they enjoyed the quiet. And so I think we're off to a good start. And I think I also heard through the news that we were voted the 3rd most beautiful beach in the United States. So that was a little bit of good news as well. We had a very nice event at Lake Agawam, but I just want to mention something that Dr. Gobler mentioned to us last year, that climate change is affecting us greatly. And not only is it nitrogen and runoff, we've become a microclimate here in our immediate area. And apparently our summer temperatures can run as much as 10 degrees higher. He has tracked this data since 1982. And those heightened temperatures really drive, bacteria growth. So what happens with us is we have tremendous runoff coming down since we're the low point. But Gary gave us a number recently, and the village has put in about 700 leaching basins, but we put in about 48 in 2018, another 34 in 2019, and we have 16 so far in 2020, with 2 projects more, maybe bringing another 20 in. So that will definitely help that from the runoff side. So the only other comment I would like to make is if everyone can remember to get out to vote. We have a Southampton Union Free School District budget vote on June 9th. It's important that every vote, your vote, gets heard. And with that, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of this nice weather.
Thank you very much. We now have Trustee Parrish.
Unmute Trustee Parrish.
Sorry, just wanted to say, yes, touching on Memorial Day, it was nice. It was something that I think everybody appreciated that was there, and we're able to watch it online. It was definitely a connecting moment, hour, I should say, which I think a lot of people appreciated, especially thinking about others. Want to go over a couple of departments. The highway department, we came off of half staff about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I will tell you what, they had a very long list, and I got to give them a lot of credit for getting a lot of things done. Striping in the village, signs being made to put up at all the beachheads to start getting people aware of all the different protocols that are, that we're going forward with and trying to keep in line with the county and the state and everything like that. Getting Cooper's Beach ready was another big thing. They were out there working, they were out there early, and, pretty confident that they really moved a lot of hours to get these things set up. So I wanted to give a shout out to the highway department. Next would be parks. Again, they come off of being short staffed. They have a list that goes, from ceiling to the floor, and, they jumped on in, got flowers out, got the streets clean, started working on, the dog park got open on, I believe it was Saturday afternoon at noon. And that was a real good step that, I know the people from the park really appreciated. And so I got to give a shout out to the Parks Department. Village Hall staff, the amount of paperwork that they were processing this week when it came to beach permits was probably something that they've never seen before. Generally, it's always been walk-in. From what my understanding is that when people who have been there for a long time have dealt with it, they seem to find it pretty easy. This was all paper. This was all opening, entering, and then returning. And they were returning, mailbox containers full on a daily basis. I dropped by there on Friday to give them some ice cream because I know that they were, really working hard. And some of the piles that I saw even got me a little bit overwhelmed. So, we're able to bring someone in to help out, a veteran employee. It was great. And hats off to them because they were really working hard last week, and they still have a big pile coming. So you know what, keep it up, Village Hall staff. Cooper's Beach, like Kim said, number 3. Fantastic, went down from number 4 to number 3 this year. Shout out to all the people that are do part of that, lifeguards, Matthew Weeks, the manager, everybody that's involved, from the people that are in the booth to the people that help clean up that beach, the concessions. That's a full-on effort, and it starts from the beach and it goes all the way back to town hall and everybody that puts their, hands on that beach. We did go to all touchless this week. So all the bathrooms now are all touchless. So we are trying to eliminate that, so to give people that confidence that we really are looking to do the best thing to promote a healthy and safe environment for them to enjoy the beaches. Wasn't the greatest weekend. A lot of kinks are going to be worked out. It's a learning experience as we move forward for everybody, but very proud to say that in the face of all this uncertainty, and they stepped up. So I appreciate all their hard work, and I look forward to seeing things grow in a positive way moving forward for the rest of the summer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Parrish. We now have Trustee Polaro.
Unmute Trustee Polaro.
And I said I didn't want to have to be told to unmute. I wanted to echo some of the other sentiments that have been said regarding Memorial Day and some of the other things that some of the other trustees have said. But it was a wonderful day, a wonderful event. Very honored and privileged to be there and not having to watch it live streamed. I know a lot of people did that. And so I thank them. I thank them for that, for the veterans that were there, for the people that stayed home to protect others, for the people that stayed home to protect themselves. So thank you. Thank you to the fire department for bringing out the vehicles, something very special. The Cub Scouts were there as well. So it was really, really very nice. And yes, Rich, Lane did a great job with singing, as she always does. You should be very proud in her. I spoke with Father Patrick yesterday after the ceremony a little bit, and it's now been said that churches are essential, and so they would like to get back up and running, but at the same time they want to do it where all parishioners will be safe. So I think that he and some of the other ministers in the village are putting plans together, and will probably try and come and speak to us at some stage and present, so that we kind of know what their thoughts are and what their ideas are on how to protect the congregation, because every congregation are residents of the village, and that they want to protect them. We want to protect all of them as well. So I thank all of them for their hard work that they have done. Going virtual for a church is not something that they ever probably thought would occur. But at least in the village, I've heard they've all been embraced. They've all done it. And from the comfort of our home, I still feel very close to the parishioners that I share St. John's with and Father Patrick with. So I thank him. I thank all of them for that, and really appreciate their dedication to the service, to their service. Yes, beaches, unbelievable job. I think that we really have a nice plan for kind of where phase one is. As Rich said, we are moving into a phase one reopening now. So excited to be able to work on that, see where we go with it, with regard to the beaches, with regard to many other shops in town, with regard to many other industries. And one of the things that I think that we as residents have to understand is there will be some kinks to work out, but we need to do it with kindness, and we need to do it with compassion. We're very fortunate. A lot of people in this community are very fortunate that they've been able to work from home or school from home for the last little whiles. There are some residents and some workers that don't have the luxury of working from home and haven't been working for a very long time, and haven't been able to provide as they may see fit or want to provide for their families. I know one organization in the heart of the Hamptons has seen a huge increase in food needs and people coming to them for it. So I just hope that, again, as these people go back to work, that we as residents and we as humans will have compassion for them, to allow them to go back to work, to allow them to start feeding their family with money that they have earned, because that is what they are looking to do, is to be able to provide for their families. So I hope that we will have the patience and the wherewithal for those industries that will come back on in phase one. And when we see how that goes, we'll have phase 2, 3, and however many more it takes till we can get back and really kind of, I don't know that we'll resume normalcy as we knew it pre-COVID, but in places in Europe that are opening up, in places in Asia, I have some knowledge there that things are moving back to some sense of normalcy, to a little bit. So I am hopeful that we can do this. Lastly, two things left. I want to thank Simone and David and all of SAC for the great work for the movie that they put on Sunday night on their rain date. It was a lot of fun had by all. I drove down there just as it was kind of starting, and it seemed that everyone was behaving themselves and having a good time. And the movie is always fun. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great movie. So really happy to see that went off well. Lastly, as Mayor Warren said, talking about budget and finance, I spoke to all members of the budget and finance, and I had spoken to Mayor Warren yesterday about this, and I'm happy to say that one of the tasks that is going to be put forward for them is to kind of really look at where our expenses are, and depending on what revenues do for us, through the summer months, I'm hoping that they will be able to put forth a plan and present it at the next meeting. Either have one of them present it themselves, or present a white paper for me to read out, with some ideas on how we should look at an austerity program within the village, and how we can keep expenses in check for the next little bit until we really know where our revenues are and generated for this year. So I'm happy to be working with them, and we'll see what their recommendations are. So that is I would be remiss. My son, Boo, graduates on Sunday from Cardigan Mountain. I would be very remiss if I did not congratulate him on that achievement, and really looking forward to that virtual celebration.
Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you very much, Trustee Perlaro. Congratulations to Boo. It's an excellent achievement, and congratulations to your family as well. We really said it all, from a very successful Memorial Day ceremony on Monday, where we honored our heroes, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, where on Sunday night we had a very successful drive-in movie at Cooper's Beach, which was done seamlessly. In addition to Simone and David Levinson, also wanted to thank Amy Kerwin and Godfrey, Tom Dunn, some people behind the scenes making it all happen. And I just wanted to briefly, and I'll be brief, touch upon the fact that we're moving into phase one tomorrow. And there's a lot of business owners in the village. I'm one of them, where we have businesses that are deemed non-essential, and they may be deemed non-essential, but to us as business owners, they're certainly essential. And you know, we are hurting right now. I know how much other business owners that are deemed non-essential, as well as essential businesses, are hurting. I have reached out to the governor's office. I have asked the governor's reopening task force to consider appointment-only shopping for those who might own a bookstore or an art gallery or clothing business or any other industry that's not food or pharmacy or declared essential. We've also reached out to County Executive Balone and his team. We've done it a few times, and so we're pushing for that. We hope that's something that becomes a reality. We also hope that we move to phase two more quickly. It was been discussed that there's been some loosening as to kind of how quickly we can move to phase two. We'll obviously communicate that information to you when we get it, but it is easy to say, hang in there. It's harder to actually do it, but we will keep you posted. But I just wanted to share with the business owners in our community that I certainly feel the pain that we're going through. To have a Memorial Day weekend, which is typically the busiest and most important weekend of the year for business owners, and to have our doors shut, you know, is just something that is unfathomable to many of us. And then as we move into curbside pickup, you know, many people out here love to shop in brick and mortar and want to do more than just a curbside. So unfortunately, I wish I can do more, but we will be pushing for you. And when we do get open, this will hopefully be a very strong 3/4 of a summer. So I just wanted to share that with the business owners. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much, and good night.